today I'm reviewing the Byoma Moisturizing Gel Sunscreen SPF 50. And really quick, I just want to say, purchase products with my own money. I'll never do any sponsored ads or videos, so if that's something you're into, like, subscribe, share the video, check on the links below, or check out my Patreon community. So, Byoma is a newer brand, and I'm always down for new releases. In the first string of products they released, I think 3 different serums, 2 moisturizers, and a cleanser. They were all fragrance-free, and I got really excited about it. They're all affordable, too, which is also wonderful. Then they released a couple cleansers with some fragrance in it, which I wasn't totally in love with. Some eye creams, which I didn't totally love. And then a sunscreen. I'm always down for new sunscreens, especially when it's summer out, so can't get enough of them. So this came out, I was instantly like, I gotta try it, and I did. And I've got a lot of thoughts on it to share with you guys. So before you purchase this one, check this out. So, okay, so they say this ultra-effective, deeply hydrating, non-greasy SPF 30 daily moisturizer, the ultimate blend of skincare, barrier care, and sun care. The lightweight gel cream SPF 30 formula offers broad spectrum protection from UVA and UVB rays, and we've got a lot of thoughts just on that topic. Instantly absorbing in the skin and leaving a glowing, radiant finish with zero white cast. Hydrating hyaluronic acid and beta-glucan help plump skin while delivering a surge of hydration across multiple layers, minimizing transepidermal water loss, while our proprietary Triceramide complex works hard to safeguard the skin barrier. And anyway, so this one's made in the U.S., so they have some limitations, which I will address. Okay, first criteria is packaging. No issue with the packaging. Pump bottle. I'm assuming they offer refills for this because they offer refills for their other stuff, which I think I don't know how it works. I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I do think they offer refills, I believe. Or if they don't, they will. Okay, in terms of denatured drying types of alcohol, it does not contain any of those. We get to fragrance. I neglected to really investigate the ingredient list fully when I purchased it, although they do have it really nicely written on here, the ingredients and what each one of them does, which is very nice. However, they do have one ingredient in here which I wasn't totally happy to see, which was clove bud extract. It's a perfuming ingredient. I'm trying to see on here what they have it labeled as. A skin conditioning ingredient is what they have it labeled as. But it's more of a perfuming ingredient. That's its purpose. Although the scent of that is not super noticeable, it does increase the likelihood that you could be irritated by some of the chemical filters when you add fragrance and things like that into here. And despite them putting that fragrance ingredient, it still has kind of that strong sunscreen smell to it, which is usually, I think, Avobenzone. Okay, the manufacturing location for this one is the U.S., so I mean, they're making a sunscreen in the U.S. If they're making a chemical sunscreen, they don't have a lot of options, so I get it. So I'm going to probably be hard on this one, but probably doesn't have much to do with the brand themselves other than the country where they're making it in. And manufacturing and intending to sell it, I guess. Okay, the SPF of this one is 30, which is where you want to be at least every day. A lot of people mention, oh, there's not a huge difference between SPF 30 and 50. However, when you factor in the fact that most people tend to underapply sunscreen, then you get to the point where there can be a bigger difference between 30 and 50, especially when you underapply it, which most people tend to do. Even I tend to do it, and I have access to cameras and things that show me how much I've applied and where I've missed and things like that. I still tend to underapply it and miss spots. So that's why sometimes going with 50 is going to be better, especially if you're aware that you underapply it. Okay, we get to the UVA protection factor, and they have one filter for UVA protection, and that is 3% Avobenzone. So compared to many other chemical sunscreens made in other places like Korea, like Japan, like Europe, Germany, Sweden, Switzerland, Australia, even Canada, the UVA protection factor with 3% Avobenzone is not going to be nearly as good as compared to any other chemical sunscreen from any of those countries, unless they're formulated based on selling in the U.S. Like the Isntree new sunscreens looks like they're all based to sell in the U.S. So it could have been much better, but they're trying to sell in the U.S., which is a bummer because they could have been much better. But anyway, so this one is not going to be super great. UVA rays don't burn you. You don't notice it instantly that the UVA protection is low, but at the end of the summer, you may notice more wrinkling than you would have if you would have applied something with great UVA protection. So I'm off my soapbox, but keep that in mind. Okay, filters used. There's 3 filters in here. 3% Avobenzone. It's the only globally available chemical sunscreen agent that provides proper UVA protection. I'm not a big fan of it. There's so many other better UVA filters. Uvinolate Plus, Tinsorbs, some of the L'Oreal exclusive ones. Anyway, whatever. That's what they have to work with, and that's what they use, so I get it. And I think 3% is the max that they can use, I think. But anyway. Okay, then we've got 10% Homosalate, an oil-soluble chemical sunscreen agent that protects the skin from UVB rays. It's not a strong UV filter in and of itself, and not very photostable. It uses 10% of its SPF protection in 45 minutes, which is also why you need to reapply sunscreen regularly, especially when they have kind of depressing filters like that. Avobenzone loses 36% of its UV absorption capacity after just 1 hour of sunlight, which is why it's such a terrible filter. Although better than absolutely nothing, for sure. It's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying they're much better sunscreens. And then we've got 5% Octisalate, which is a UVB absorber. It does enhance the soluble other filters, and anyway, so it's UVB filter. So we've got 2 UVB filters and then Avobenzone, and it's not even this brand's fault. That's just what they have to work with if they're planning on manufacturing and selling in the US. So okay, in terms of the white cast, here we go. It's got a lovely creamy texture to it. That's a gel formula, so there's absolutely no white cast. It is transparent, which is very nice. So if you have a deeper skin tone, that's very nice that it's transparent and applies very nicely. The texture, it's got a nice gel serum texture. It feels hydrating but not greasy, which is really nice. Then in terms of ease of use, so the gel texture is very pleasing. However, reapplying this sunscreen later on is a little difficult because it will pill up. It's prone to pill. The first time you apply it, it applies pretty easily. But if you're going to apply it, especially like after hours, every 2 hours, you should be reapplying it. If you have foundation or makeup or powder on, it's going to make it even more prone to pilling. I will say it can end up looking a little flaky towards the end of the day. And I'm sure the pilling probably has something to do with the sodium hyaluronate and the dimethicone, especially when you reapply it on top of itself. Okay, in terms of other beneficial ingredients, so we've got Beta-Glucan, humectant, skin-soothing antioxidant, sodium hyaluronate, humectant. We've got Ceramide NP, cholesterol, and Phytosphingosine, which are all skin-identical ingredients and barrier repairing. We've got oleic acid, fatty emollient from nuts and or olive oil. Hydroxyacetophenone, antioxidant preservative combo. We've got lecithin, an emollient, panthenol, wound healing. Goldenrod extract, a skin conditioning ingredient, and then finally vitamin E, emollient, and antioxidant. So some nice additional ingredients in that one. In terms of acnegenic ingredients, we've got dimethicone, stearic acid, and vitamin E. So nothing terrible. Okay, in terms of animal testing, this is vegan and cruelty-free, so that's awesome. In terms of performance, so I noticed after using this a couple days, I started to get a little freckling. And at that point, with my hyperpigmentation and melasma, even just to review this, I'm not going to risk screwing up what I've done. So, as far as I've come. So I stopped using this on my face and started using it on my arms as a way to test it without further risking damage to my melasma and hyperpigmentation. This one I might pull out in the winter and use it, but definitely not in the summer. It just isn't strong enough for what I need with my melasma, especially how far my melasma has gotten better. I'm not going to risk messing it up to test something. It's not worth it. Probably okay for the average person, but not, in my opinion, if you're somebody concerned with anti-aging and sun protection, it's just not that impressive. So... then in terms of the price, so this is a full-size 1.7 ounces, 50 milliliters, and retails for around $19, so it's not terribly expensive. But be sure, especially with these US-based chemical sunscreens, that you're reapplying because the protection. They just can't offer as good as Japan, Europe, Korea. Even with the Korean sunscreen Armageddon, the new ones coming out of Korea all look pretty good so far. Anyway, that's just what I'm saying. So, with the 15 being a perfect square, this one a 10. That's what it is. So, what is that? It got 66%. Cameron likes when cameraman freaks out. Oof, it's terrible. So, it's about got 2/3 of the score. So, anyway. Anyway, interested in hearing from you guys if you have a chance to check this one out yet or not, and what your thoughts are. Leave a comment. Love hearing from you guys, and stay tuned for more tomorrow. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.